guess I won't use the board. The sisters can't see it. Anyway, I think today we might have a little bit of a shortened class. Let's see how far we can get. It's 2 o'clock now. Maybe instead of taking the break in the middle, if we just work continuously through 3:15, it might be a little bit better, I think. Instead of giving a 15-minute break and extending it, I'm just going to kind of just push and give everything that we have in one session, inshallah. I don't really have a naturally high voice. I don't know if the sisters can hear. There's no mic. Okay. I'll try my best to speak as loud as I can. If the sisters can't hear, just knock on that wood and I'll try to speak up louder. Or if you need me to repeat anything, just knock on the wood. So can any sister knock on the wood to make sure? Good, mashallah. Okay, so if you can't hear, just knock. If you want me to repeat something, knock 3 times. If you just want me to speak up, just knock once. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya'i wa Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Normally the habit is that before we get into the tafsir, we like to discuss these usul al-Quran or ulum al-Quran, the different topics that relate to the Quran, before actually delving into the defining the different meanings of the verses. So last week we were discussing about wahi. The discussion was, and even for the previous weeks, about the different revelation in wahi, the different types. And for us to understand more, what is this concept? Right? In order to understand the Quran, we have to understand the whole concept of the Quran, how it came to be, the different ulum or the different knowledges that relate to the Quran in these verses. Because they're going to have an effect and they're going to impact the tafsir of it as well. So last week we discussed the forms of wahi, and we're talking about the angelic form of wahi, the wahi that takes place directly into the heart of a nabi, and the direct discussion from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the taqleem, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly discourses or talks with the nabi. That we covered last week. This week we're going to continue that kind of discussion, but we're going to take a slight turn here. We discussed before the 2 different types of revelation, the inzal and the tanzil, right? When the wahi came down from the lawh mahfuz, from the preserved tablet, and it came down in one particular night, whole, it came back all together to the Bayt al-Izzah or Bayt al-Ma'mur that we call it, right? And that's accepted, it's widely accepted amongst the ulama that happened in Ramadan and that happened in Laylatul Qadr. Because in the Surah Al-Qadr, Allah SWT himself mentions that, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ, that we revealed it, right, on the night of Qadr. So there's no discussion about that, and that was whole. Then the tanzil. Now we want to kind of go a little bit more in discussion about tanzil, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would order the malaika to take down verse by verse, or sometimes surah by surah, and reveal it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the malaika would go to the Bayt al-Ma'mur, Bayt al-Izzah, they would take this hukam, they would take this command, and they would reveal it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One thing to discuss is the beginning of this revelation. One is the beginning of, not the beginning, but the actual revelation of the whole entire Quran, like it coming down in its entirety. That, there's no debate, that happened in Laylatul Qadr, and that's what Allah SWT mentions in that. So the dhamir hu, inna anzalnahu, in Arabic you have pronouns, that hu, huwa, that hu, the mufassirin say it refers to the Quran, yani in its entirety. So we reveal the Quran in its entirety on that night. Now the discussion comes in that, okay, when did the tanzil kind of take place? When the verses are given down gradually to Rasulullah verse by verse, when did this kind of start? When did this take place? And this I'll refer to it as the tanzil piecemeal, yani bit by bit, bit by bit. So when did the piecemeal revelation commence? One thing that is accepted amongst all the ulama, that they'll say that, oh, we agree upon this, that it did commence at the age of 40, when Rasulullah was 40 years of age. That's when he received his first revelation, at the age of 40. No real ikhtilaf at that. The more accepted view, there is difference in this, but the majority of the ulama say that even this incident, where the one or the several verses of the ayat came down, there are a majority of ulama, they say that even this took place on Laylatul Qadr as well. They say that both, right? So just to give us the grandeur of this one night alone, Ramadan is coming around the corner. How much izzat and how much respect and how much honor and barakah Allah SWT has kept in this one night cannot even be fathomed. Where, leave alone revealing the Quran once, Allah SWT decided to choose that night to reveal it in both separate ways. One the inzal and one the tanzeel. Right? It's full of barakah. We can't even imagine the barakah of this night. So you can say this is a real night of Quran. Month of Ramadan alone is the Shahr Ramadan, alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. The month of Ramadan is the month of Quran also. Right? Allah SWT has mentioned it, that this is the month Allah chose to reveal the Quran. Right? That's in its place. But then even more and above that, Laylatul Qadr. Right? Normally, when you value something, when you understand the value of a thing, then you're going to cherish it. Like the whole thing we're talking about. If we understand, for example, take a jeweler or take a person who's in any professional field. When you understand the value of something, you're going to cherish it that much more. For example, if you take a caveman or if you take a person out in the village somewhere and you show him a diamond, what is he going to know it's a diamond? He's like, yeah, it's a piece of glass, it's a piece of rock, and you'll flick it around. He's like, ah, this thing's a piece of junk. I can't light a flint with it, I can't light fire with it. What am I going to do with this thing? So he doesn't understand the value of it. So what's he going to do? He's going to completely throw it away. Useless to him. But somebody who knows that you know what you can do with this one diamond alone is probably worth $200,000-$300,000. Right? But it takes that ilm, it takes that knowledge to understand the value of that thing. That's what we now have to do. When we're seeking ilm, we're empowering ourselves to understand that, wait a second, this Laylatul Qadr is not something that we can just, sleep through the night. Or something, na'udhu billah, what we find a lot of the youth even, as a question descended. Another form of wahi. Right? We can't hear properly. Okay, I'll try to speak louder. I'll try to.
Okay. Sit over there.
I'll sit over there and you guys face this way? Okay, that's good.
Do we need this fan
I
on?
don't need it. Let's do that then. Let's kind of just do a quick. Each person take their own desk and we'll shift. Yeah, okay, that's easy.